I've never seen people this mad about anything in my life. And I think my For You tabs on these various things somehow have concluded that I want to hear white people really mad about Luka. And not that black people don't disagree with the move. They just not nearly as mad about it. I ain't never seen this level of anger. You and I talk about this. Whenever the Lakers go play a game in Dallas for the Mavericks, that's the kind of thing that could break your relationship between your team, like the guys on your team and your city, because that arena is going to be rooting against the home team.
And I don't think Dallas has ever rooted for the Lakers. Like, this is not one of those relationships where you walk in and you give a polite clap. Like, you know, like Dallas done put the Lakers out of the playoffs before, and the Lakers done put Dallas out of the playoffs before, where people remember that. And now you're the enemy, but you're not quite the enemy. You're like our guy. Like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, the only thing I can compare, if the Lions traded Barry Sanders in his prime, like, I quit the Lions because he retired because of that bum franchise, I would be completely undone if they had the gall to trade the best thing that ever happened to them. Can you imagine? Like, you did it with Dominique, and that seems like that hurts more than a retirement.
An interesting difference, though, is Luka still isn't even the greatest player in the history of the Mavericks. Like, we still remember that guy, but that guy showed up in LA for the first game of the Luka era. But terrible luck for the Mavericks that after acquiring Anthony Davis, it's not simply that he got hurt, it's that everybody on their roster that's taller than me seems to be hurt. And so they have nothing. Like, it sounds, actually right now, it sounds like I understand why you made the trade. It sounds like you needed some big men, right? Like, it is more clear than ever why you might want to try to make that move. But they all hurt. They all hurt.
Everybody. And the crazy thing was, Anthony Davis put up one of the best quarters of his life. Like, hey, y'all think when they said AD, y'all meant like Antonio Davis? Did y'all think that's who y'all traded for? Like the Davis boys out of Indiana back in the day? No. I'm that dude. And maybe he came back and played a little too early and pushed himself and put himself in a spot. But from a basketball perspective, Bo, can I say I understand what Dallas is thinking about with that one? I see it.
It's just that nobody's ever done anything like this before. But I do agree with you, and I think you can disagree with something while understanding it, right? I get why people disagree. I am shocked by the levels at which people say they do not understand. And I, again, have never seen a situation where a team has been like, this dude is fat and lazy, and the response is, so? I've never seen that before. That's brand new. As far, right. That's brand new as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen anything that came close to it. One thing I do think that does not come up as a thought, I've seen the argument that people make that now that Luka is with the Lakers, that the Mavericks have fired him up and you're going to see da-da-da. Well, okay, that don't really matter, but so much to them, he don't play for them no more. They were never, if they thought that they could fire him up by keeping him, obviously I think they would have fired him up by keeping him. Somehow, I never heard anybody say, and maybe this happened almost too much because he got hurt, but I hadn't seen anybody make the argument of this going to light a fire under Anthony Davis. And clearly, at least for one night, it did, right? Can you imagine? How insulted would you be if you were Anthony Davis, the way people was out here talking about him? Like he was Antonio Davis.
Right. Like, in case y'all didn't know, I didn't melt down in the finals when I was in the NBA finals. I maybe very well could have been the MVP of the NBA finals the last time I was there. I wasn't the guy who melted down in a fourth quarter of a game I had to win, picking up a fifth foul and then cursing at everybody for a challenge when clearly it was a foul on me. Like, he's looking around like, I got a ring. I'm one of the best bigs in the league, period. And y'all treat me like I'm a bum? I bet. Like, that's something that I don't think we really factored in there. And yeah, like, Bo, since when did we start liking fat people? And I don't say that like me. Like the last fat person that we liked was what, Charles Barkley?
And one thing about Charles also, Charles was not NBA fat. Like Charles was college fat, but once he got in there, but no, I've never seen the backlash like the backlash that has happened here. I've never seen it. I want to see how this continues. The Lakers are interesting. LeBron did that weird thing at the All-Star game. If you wasn't going to play, that's fine. If you wasn't going to tell nobody, that's fine. At least you could do was wear matching clothes for the picture. Like everybody out here wearing the same thing in the picture.
That was a
What was he protesting?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I will tell you this one last thing, because I think this is a point that I don't think has been brought up on any level. We think of Luka Doncic as 15-year guy. He's going to be with your franchise for 15 years. You got time to figure it out. These GMs, and I've told you this, and I've said this in general before, in the NBA, only plan for 2 to 3 years. And then you're going to have to figure out something else. Like the rebuild, the contending, like other than Oklahoma City, and maybe that's going to be a litmus test too for how this works. You only got a 2 or 3 year window, and then you got to figure something else out because of the way the money works. You don't have time to plan for 15 years or 10 more years. That's not the NBA anymore.
I still just laugh at the idea that Luka Doncic offends Nico. His very existence offended Nico Harrison. Like, Nico Harrison called that man a loser. Yes. That was what this whole thing was. Why did you trade him, man? I can't have no losers up in my space. Like that's what, and if you believe somebody is a loser, don't you have, it's him or me. If I believe my star player is a loser, one of us has got to go, but only one of us can trade the other one.
He got to go. That's, if you're drawing that conclusion, if you've said either through his habits, how he played in the NBA finals or whatever ancillary evidence you have gathered, if you have said this guy's a loser and I'm trying to win, I can't, Bo, who's the last loser that we turned into a champion? Like the last legit loser that we have turned into a champion. Not a winner who wasn't a champion, but a loser.
I want to be clear. Neither I nor you is saying he's a loser.
Nope.
But Nico did. And if you think it, you gotta, hey, boy, you better hope like hell you're right. Like we're gonna, this Lakers season still is gonna be interesting. Next year is gonna be really, really interesting. This trade will fascinate for such a long time. Like even now, the fact that we can still get something to talk about out of it is amazing.
I feel like I'm more sure than ever that next year is going to be the LeBron retirement tour.
Logically, I think it makes sense. And it'll be funny because he's not the dude to just retire at the end of the year. It will he wants his gifts. He is going to get his things. He's going. Are they going to give him like? I don't remember this on the Jordan retirement tour. Did they give him gifts?
No, because remember, like 98, people were ambiguous about that.
No, I'm talking about the 03 one. I'm talking about 03.
03, I don't. Maybe his last game in a couple, like in Chicago. Or
like Kareem got a gift everywhere.
He got a boat. That man got a boat.
He got a motorcycle. He got a motorcycle.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on a motorcycle?
Yeah, Milwaukee gave him a motorcycle.
Wow. Yeah, LeBron wants the retirement tour of all retirement tours. Like, yes. I could just see all of that happening.
It'll be the Coach K retirement tour. Like, it was so funny. People are like, we know Coach K won't want a retirement tour. Like, oh, you don't know Coach K.
I mean, what do you give LeBron when he done put your ass out of the playoffs year after year? Hey, LeBron, thanks for destroying our dreams. Here's a gift.
Toronto's going to give him a giant middle finger. That's what they're going to give him. Toronto going to give him directions to the airport. That's what they're going to get him. Get the hell out of here.
Presented by Drake.
Couldn't have come a day sooner. The NFL season is officially over, but the NBA is only heating up, which means you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite teams only on Prize Picks. You can make a Prize Picks lineup with NBA or even college basketball in as little as 60 seconds. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.